thank you, everyone. First of all, everything we're going to do today is live. So if it doesn't work, so be it. We're going live. Everything's live on the internet. I'm going to show you some things today you've never seen before. Everyone here has probably heard of ChatGPT. Everyone's tried ChatGPT? Okay. So today I'm going to show you the first searching of blockchains using AI. If you've ever gone to ChatGPT and typed in, say, show me all ENS names of nouns DAO holders, the answer is, I have no idea. With Airstack, we have built the ability to do natural language searches on blockchain in a way that enables developers to easily search cross-chain, cross-dApp, on-chain, and off-chain data and combine it into a single query and response. Y'all ready? All right. So here you can see the Airstack website. The way we position Airstack is data APIs for builders. A lot of people, when they think about Web3 data, they think about analytics. We think about Web3 data from a builder perspective. I'm building an application, and how do I integrate Web3 data, blockchain data, data about what's happening across the Web3 ecosystem into my applications? Background on myself and our team, we've been building on Ethereum since 2016. In fact, I remember back in 2018 meeting Patricio, who we just heard from, at events in Waterloo, where he was handing out people physical POAPs, the first NFTs. One of the things that we observed over the last 6 years while building on Ethereum, I guess almost 7 years now, is that the technology has gotten progressively better. We used to go from having to run our own nodes with the tools like Infura, to then running subgraphs with the graph, to then using APIs from the makers of, let's say, Alchemy and QuickNode and Moralis. But one thing that we heard in conversations with developers over the last couple of years is that while things have gotten better, we're still a long way to go before developers can literally just ping an API and plug and play data from across the ecosystem. We heard from developers that if they want to integrate data that's outside of their own application, they had to run all sorts of Firehose nodes, ping all sorts of, whether it's subgraphs or other technologies, build complex backend databases, analyze the data, and then serve it up to their customers. And with Airstack, what our design is to enable anyone to be able to just use the Airstack APIs and easily integrate any data into their application without requiring any backend system on your side. So literally, our vision is, and I'm going to show you how real it is today, that you could be building an application. Let's say it's an application to be able to send marketing messages or airdrops to customers. And you could say, I want to first do analysis of everyone who has been to Pragma and who maybe also went to DevCon. And you'd get that by analyzing, say, their POAPs or the NFT tickets. And then also maybe who played a game on the sandbox or owns a Bored Ape. I want to just pinpoint those users and send them this message. Prior to Airstack, almost impossible to do. You'd have to ping a whole bunch of APIs, download a lot of data, cross-reference it. But now what I'm going to show you is this is now possible. So if I go out to Airstack, and first I should let you know that everything I'm showing you here today is all live on the internet. It's at app.airstack.xyz, and you can use it for free. We're purposely not charging for Airstack right now. We just want to gain use cases, get lots of developers using it. We launched at eTokyo a couple weeks ago. We have now over 300 development teams building on Airstack. And the number one thing we heard from them is that they were able to build more, faster, better with Airstack than they were before because they didn't have to spend days or weeks just gathering data. Instead, they could focus on their applications. So when you go to Airstack, the first thing you're going to see is there's a community built into the product. So whenever someone runs a query on Airstack, so for instance, get me the recent transfers of DAI tokens, you can publish it to the community so other people can examine that query. They can use it. They can fork it themselves. We are live on the internet, and the internet's not working. Okay, let's try again here. Here we go. All right. So here, for instance, is that query. All right, it's a little slow. Let's see what we can do here. Here we go. Here, for instance, that query that someone did on trace and transfers of DAI tokens. And I can run this query and get a response. Here you see the query and the response in a few milliseconds. Now, what I want to show off today is the AI capabilities, because this is what really makes this special. And this is what's going to open up Web3 developer tools to not just the 10,000 or so Ethereum developers today, but to anybody who has a question about data that's on the blockchain. So the first thing is on Airstack, you can query today Ethereum, Polygon. You can query across all the major Web3 socials. So you can query across ENS, Farcaster-native, NFTs, and you can also query across NFT marketplaces like OpenSea and Rarible and Blur. So let's show a couple queries. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the Airstack AI to show me all tokens held. Is everybody able to read this? Okay. Held by vitalik.eth and his Web3 socials. I would say, and also let's just do all ENS held by Vitalik and his Web3 socials. So what's happening here is our AI engine, which has been trained on our APIs, is now searching across the APIs on Airstack, which have everything from domains to marketplaces to tokens to wallets to balance transfers and it's, as I said, across Ethereum, Polygon, ENS, Lens, Farcaster, and more. So here you see the AI built this query for me. It says the identity is vitalik.eth, so it's able to translate his ENS name, and it's looking on blockchain Ethereum, and it's looking for his various domains as well as his socials. So I'll run this, and we'll see, okay, so Vitalik owns these ENS names. These are his actual ENS names. We also see that his primary domain is set to satoshiandart.eth. Probably didn't know that, but that's how he set his primary ENS. You can see that his Farcaster username is vbuterin, and that his lens name is vitalik.lens. So the AI was able to interpret this and return this back in a single query. And if you think about what this query is combining, it is combining data across chain, across dApp. So it's combining data that's on Ethereum. It's combining ENS as a dApp. It's combining Farcaster as a dApp that's actually on Goldberg. And it's combining data that's on Lens in a single query response in milliseconds. Now, in this case, I started with the ENS address. Let's do the reverse. So let's start with the Lens. So let's say, show me all NFTs held by stani.lens, and we'll generate that query. So here I'm starting with the Lens address, and the Airstack AI knows that this Lens address is associated with an Ethereum address, is now also looking for all of Stani's NFTs across Ethereum and Polygon. So it's building this query for you. Now, one thing we found is that, as I said, there's about 300 developers that are currently using Airstack after being live for about 4 weeks. And we're finding that even amongst the savviest developers who are really familiar with writing GraphQL queries, that over 80% of all developers are starting with the AI. And why are they doing that? Because it's the easiest way to express your problem statement or your use case is to write a question in natural language. And then you can also then use the APIs to add more variables. But the AI is pretty much 99% plus accurate on anything that's in the Airstack APIs right now. So here I'm going to run this query, and I see here's Stani's token balances. He has stani.lens. He also has these other lens names. You might not have known that the lens official.lens is registered under Stani's Ethereum address as well. I can see NFTs that he's holding, and not just the NFTs. I also can return back from Airstack resized images of the NFTs that we're powering through our CDN. So if you think about it, again, this query is across Ethereum, it's across Polygon, it's gathering data from IPFS, it's combining all this in a single queried response. I'll do one more on Web3 identity. Let's do for Farcaster user, DWR. Dan Romero, DWR, is the founder of Farcaster. I'm going to say show his lens and ENS. Now, I'm doing this with a single input, but you as a developer, you can put in variables, you can put in thousands of addresses. And the use case here, for instance, we have, let's say, owners of DAOs who come to me and said, like Tally, like Dennis and Tally said, well, if I want to see the ENS names of everyone who's used this DAO, and then also show what POAPs they've earned, they can just do that in a single query on Airstack. So here I have for this Farcaster user DWR, I have here's his Farcaster profile DWR, his lens name, danromero.lens, his ENS addresses, all in one query and response. So if you think about developers who've been building over the last few months, or let's say a year on the Web3 socials, whether it's Lens or Farcaster. Until today, they had to pick a lane. Essentially, you build something on Farcaster, or you build something on Lens, or maybe you build something on ENS. Now with Airstack, you could build interoperable applications. And that's one of the things we're really excited about for the hackathon this weekend, is to help developers build applications that cut across the Web3 socials. So here you see an example of, by just pinging the Airstack APIs, the AI can help you, and you can actually get all the social identities of someone based on their address. Now, we can do more with Airstack than just talk about Web3 identities. We can also go to owners of NFT collections, or owners of DAOs, or members of DAOs. Let's do a DAO, for instance. So I'm going to say, show me holders of orange. So one thing we've done is we've normalized for about 5,000 tokens, we've normalized, you can just mention name of any major NFT collection or token. So I can say, show me the holders of orange DAO and their ENS and lens names. And I can just generate this as a query here. And the AI is going to build this query for me that's looking up. It knows the address of the orange DAO. Orange DAO, for those who don't know, it's a Y Combinator alumni investment DAO. And now I'm gathering across, and by the way, that token is on Polygon, and now I'm getting the addresses and the ownership of of the owners there. And here I have token balances and whether this person here, this owner of Orange DAO token is Byron2.lens. Here's another one that is Farcaster user Fahim, all back in the same response. Show you one other query. You can, for instance, query cross-chain. Show all owners of, let's go Trump Digital Collectibles and their ENS names. Not sure if we're going to have any hits here, but we'll see. And so I do believe there's a lot of ENS supporters on Trump Digital Collectibles, but we'll see. So here I'm querying again from Polygon back to Ethereum and ENS and getting all the owners of a NFT collection and their ENS names. And so we'll see what comes of it, and I'll show you one last one before we go. So here we have owners of the Trump Digital Collectibles, and not many ENS names there, but let's instead, and let's do a resized NFT images. And here you can get back the actual owners of the token plus images of the NFTs in 4 different sizes. So application developers no longer need to, let's say, get the addresses of a contract holders and then look up the NFT images on IPFS, download those images, resize them, build their own CDN, manage all this through the AWS and S3. Instead, they can just ping Airstack's APIs and just literally integrate it directly into their application. So here I'm going to say, all right, here's owners of the Trump Digital Collectibles, and then for each one, here is images. Let's see Trump. Come on, let's do it. All right, with the internet connection, it's not loading here, but you can see there are images here. Usually it would show a preview here right now. So I want to show you one last thing for this presentation is we have been, there we go, there's Trump. All right, so you can see there's our almost favorite ex-president. Just kidding. So last thing I want to show you is our team has been building an app called Jam. We started off building Jam on Farcaster, but we're going to be extending to other networks like Lens and others. And we've done it as a showcase of Airstack APIs and the capabilities. And tomorrow we're launching an integration of everything I just showed you here. I'm going to show you a preview on my development server of that app so you can see just what the possibilities are with what you can do with Web3 Social when you start integrating all these components into an application. So let's go here and share my iPhone. All right. So this is Jam. Jam is an application built on Farcaster. We have within Jam, there's various feeds. This is actually feeds of casts that are happening on Farcaster in real time. This is my For You feed, which is customized specifically around what I'm interested in. I can also see a live feed of every cast on Farcaster as it happens. You can see there's one from Lisbon just now live. That was good timing, whoever did that. Thank you. And we also have things like AI-powered search built into the app. What I want to show you today is actually the development staging version of the app. So a couple of things you'll notice. If you look at the user profiles, there's instead of you're familiar, let's say, with the Twitter blue verified badge, instead of using the verified Twitter badge or like the verification check mark, what we're using is if someone has a primary ENS name set, we're verifying with ENS that that's who that person is. Because I believe that ENS is people's #1 identity when it comes to Web3. And so you can see this user Pugson. I'm going to click in on his profile, and you see that his ENS is stani.lens. So I can verify that that actually is him because I see the ENS badge, and I know that is stani.lens. So if someone was trying to fake that they're Vitalik, for instance, they can't because only Vitalik is vitalik.eth, right? Next, what you see here in terms of the profile is a collection of what that person collects. Because I believe that, or we believe that, whereas in Web 2, let's say you are what you shitpost, in Web 3, you are what you collect. You're the events you've been to, the POAPs you've collected, the NFTs collected, the digital collectibles that represent you. And that people are going to start using NFTs in more ways, let's say to represent the projects they work on, the companies they're part of, and to start to build these personas around the NFTs that represent who you are on chain. So here you say for Pugson.eth, you have his Farcaster NFT, his ENS. You see he has a collection called Farcans, sound.xyz, blobs and interface. And just to see when you click in here, the user is able to see everyone who has that collection. So everyone who's a member of that NFT. And also decide which of them they want to add to their feeds as well. So as we start to build new social feeds, it's building new social feeds around, let's say, everyone who works at Gnosis, or everyone who's been to Pragma, or everyone who collects a Farcan. And then also the next step is then being able to send messages to and from those people through both things like Farcaster and Lens. So I hope I showed you today some of the power of what we're building at Airstack. It's free to use. Give it a try. Have fun with the AI. The best thing about the AI is the more people use it, the smarter it gets. Because every time it makes a mistake, we feed it right back to the AI and it learns more. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.